Hello, hello. Let's see who's coming in today. Oh, this is nerve-wracking. Hi, Chaz. How are you? Hi, More79. Hey, Toby. Yay, my besties are here. They're so cool. Where are you guys coming from? I'm in New York City, so you're going to be hearing sirens from time to time because all the windows are closed, but they're super loud. Hey, Courtney! Yay! I'm so excited and so nervous. Hi, Emily. Guys, this is so nerve-wracking, but I can do this. I can do this. I'm gonna do it. I'm doing this. This is gonna be so much fun. It's been an idea that was inspired by a fellow bookish account, and I was like, that looks like fun. And then I asked Courtney, and she agreed to be my guinea pig. Courtney, I love you so much. Like, you have no idea. You have been the most amazing person I've never met in person, but there's like a connection between us, don't you think? Hey, a book with a cup. Ooh, I love that. A book with a cup of tea. That is so clever. Hi, lovely. Hi, Janimeringska. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm so sorry if I butcher your names. Thank you for being here. Hi, Liz Book Rex. You guys, there's 8 of you. This is like amazing. And I want to thank you ahead of time for being here, taking some time of your Easter Sunday if you celebrate it, to be with me today. I think this community is, I don't know, fantastic. I've met so many amazing people. I've been a book reader forever. I am a Nora Roberts junkie. But then in 2023, I discovered BLs. From BLs, I graduated to and that is all I do. That's my passion, my obsession, my cup of tea. And my husband is the best man ever. He supports me in all my craziness. Look at this. This is only like one shelf. I had to get another one because I've been collecting so many books. This right here is Courtney. Yay! Okay, so it's 5:03. Let's start this. My name is Anna. Welcome to Reading. No, that's not true. Between the Pages with Anna. Here we're going to be talking about my favorite thing, which is books. I have so many surprises for you guys in the coming weeks. Courtney is our first guest. But there are so many awesome authors coming your way, and you're going to love them all. So, today we're going to be talking about House of Cards, which is Courtney's latest book. And I think she's tired of me saying, Courtney, I love your books, because I do love them all. Again, this is so Courtney. These are my 2 favorite series from her. The District and I First Read This. And these are my favorite of the 2 series. This one had me crying 2 days in a row. Damn you, Courtney. Damn you. Because I was so depressed. It was a beautiful happy ending. But of course, it's Courtney, so she had to get us broken up first before putting us back together. That is her thing. If you ask, so what do you think of Courtney? She just she wrecks you. She loves to wreck you. And then she said, okay, since you're wrecked, let's give you something nice. And she gives us a beautiful happy ending. I still hate you. I'm kidding. So, let's welcome the guest of the hour. Now, this is my first time doing this. Let's see how this works. How do I get Courtney in here? Oh, actually, I think, Courtney, you have to request to join. Let's see. Now I'm going to be consulting my iPad because I have some things written down. My memory is like terrible, so I need to make
There
sure.
you go.
There she is.
Yay.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
I cannot hear you. Let
You
me
cannot
make
hear
sure
me?
that I.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me
Okay,
now?
you are muted.
Am I muted? I don't know. My phone
I'm
is
not muted.
on.
I'm on. Let's see. How can we fix this? Are you using any
My
headphones
phone,
or anything?
no, my phone is on. Let me, my son stole my headphones. um,
Okay, let's see how we can
no,
fix.
no idea. Hold on.
Oh, you do? You hear her? Huh? I don't hear her. But you hear me, right?
Okay, I hear you.
Okay, so maybe the problem is me. Let me see. Okay. Can you hear me now? Get
Yes.
every. Okay, forget the microphone.
Okay, that works.
Hey, lovely lady, you look
Hi, how are you?
beautiful.
Hi. How are
I see
you?
you did your hair. I love
Yeah, sort
it.
of. Yeah, my hair doesn't do much of anything, but
It looks great. Okay,
thanks.
give me 1 second because it's hot in here.
Okay.
Is the fan too loud? Can you hear the fan?
I don't hear anything.
Oh, good, 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 good. So, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being my guinea pig.
No, it's fine. I'm not used to being on camera at all. So
You
just
should because you're absolutely beautiful, and you are like
for
I
you.
said before, one of the kindest person I've never met, and I'm gonna have to take a trip to Texas to just to meet you.
Or I can come to New York because I've been dying to go back to New York.
Yes, yes, you have to come over,
Yes.
especially now in the spring and the summer is like the best time to come to New York.
Yeah.
But my favorite is definitely fall. Fall is just majestic.
Love fall. Yeah, we don't get a fall here, so it's either dead or more dead in Texas.
What's the temperature over there now?
It's actually pretty cool today, about 65.
Okay, I think it's around 50 something around here.
Yeah.
So, okay, so are you ready?
Yeah, okay, let's go.
All right, so I have a bunch of questions for you.
Okay.
But before I do that, hey, make sure that you stay because at the end of the show, we're going to be giving away either an ebook or an actual physical copy of House of
Yep.
Cards,
Mhm.
or if you already have it, any book that you want from Courtney. So stay tuned. This is going to be fun, or at least I hope so. All right, so let's see. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, what inspired you to become a writer?
Might maybe a writer. Lockdown. During lockdown.
Yes. I think,
I was I don't know if you know, I know I've talked about it before years ago. I used to be an artist. But not like a digital artist, like a real artist. I had canvases, I had stuff at a gallery, but I do most of my sales live and in person. And then COVID hit, and well, that was the end of that.
but
and
it's funny because, I'm sorry, it's funny because COVID, even though it got us in lockdown, it actually made a lot of us like more proactive and creative.
Yeah, well, we had to because what we're going to do. We had nothing to do, and so just stuck in a house for two years.
Yeah.
And I can't. I'm very introverted, but I have to have a very active mind. I got to keep going, keep moving, keep doing things, and so I couldn't do my painting, and I kind of lost my love of it a little bit because of that. I just kind of, well, if I can't sell it, I just kind of, I just kind of lost interest. I did a few things for the house, but that was it. And then I just picked up fanfic writing because I was playing video games, actually, a lot of video games, just to kill the time. And I was started making mods for the games. And so because of all that, I started coming up with like storylines in my head about them. So I just started to write fanfic for the heck of it, just to have a creative outlet. And I
Thank
loved
you,
it.
COVID.
I loved it. I loved writing. I was like, it was wild. I did not think I would. I'd never even thought about being an author ever. Not until I was 53 years old.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Now, like I mentioned before, Alpha Regis and The District are my two favorite series. I absolutely like. I cannot express how much I love that series, especially The District, because we have seriously unhinged characters. I mean, like when you think about crazy people, Sully's face is the first thing that you think about. And then with Alpha Regis, we have Alpha, who has the biggest heart in the world, and
Yeah,
he takes in all these broken men and pulls them back together.
yeah.
How did that come about? Like, what made you say, you know what? I'm going to try writing, but I'm going to hurt people first.
I don't know. I just this way I've always started writing. It was always like that. Even my fanfics, there's always a hurt comfort element to it, and I think it's just because my love of psychology and just getting kind of the mind of people and how they deal with, you know, catastrophes or how they deal with struggles or trauma and recovering from that as best as they can and just sort of survive and try to find love in the process. Just trying to bring a little bit of, you know, humanity into my stories. I don't know. I was always just drawn to that, you know. So, um, and the Alpha Rejects story started with actually just from watching. It was supposed to be an MFFF actually stories originally before I started writing MM. Because I was watching a video with Red Hot Chili Peppers song and a bunch of skateboarder girls were just going around. They're falling down, they're getting bruised, they're dumping alcohol on their knees and bloody knees. And I was like, God, I really want to write something like that, something kind of gritty about skateboarders. And but it had to be put up to the side for a while because I was finishing some other series, and so I brought that one in finally. And then by that time, I was already writing MM, so I just wrote them as a bunch of boys.
That's amazing. Now, you have written about 35 books,
Yep.
and I haven't read all of them because I just met you last year.
Yeah.
But
I read that.
given what you first started writing to now, how does Alpha Regents and the District differentiate from everything else that you have written? Because we also have It's Only Love. Because that one is like completely different. There's no
You're right.
unhingedness.
With
There's no
Anya, yeah,
it,
Anya is very softer writer than I am, so she's much more gentle. So she had to pull me in and write a little bit softly too, a little more gentle, because it was a very sweet, loving, you know, romance. So I had to write very differently there. That was a little bit more of a challenge to be softer, and because I'm usually, you know, it's usually harsher when my characters are going through their
you call that soft. Like you had us crying. How is that soft?
softer than I normally write. They were very, very gentle, you know. There's just very gentle guys.
Okay, so let's talk about House of Cards.
Okay.
It's a little different as well from your other books.
Definitely deviated, yep.
It's about single dads,
Hmm.
a very self-assured neighbor,
He's very,
and a very petty neighbor at
yeah,
that.
he's such an
How,
ass.
but you know he is, but we know why he's an ass.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, Calvin has so much trauma
yeah,
that he needed to protect himself somehow.
yes.
You know, and once you get to know him, you have to love him. Even when he's a jerk, you have to love him because he's funny. You know, he's funny.
His
He
bad
makes
jokes and
he makes the best out of things, especially with the very hard card that he was dealt with. And not only that, he is a proud bachelor.
yeah,
He loves hookups.
yeah.
And then to find himself as the guardian of a 14-year-old, a grieving
Grieving
14-year
boy,
old,
heavily grieving. Yeah,
it's life changing, you know,
it
for
is.
someone who sees his future as a loner and just gonna have fun, no responsibilities, and then he's hit with this blow.
Yeah,
How
and
do you?
he had to think quickly on his feet.
He really did, and he did it with grace. That's the funny thing, you know, for him to not know anything about parenthood, he fit right in.
Yeah. Well, see, with Cal, he was like, you know, we know why he was the way he is, but also kind of the point of his character a little bit is to show um, how much we really don't know people until we get to know them and their real
Exactly.
selves, you know. So we spend a lot of time seeing people on the outside, not really getting to know them on the inside. And that's when Seth is surprised by how vulnerable Cal could be, even right in the beginning, and how honest he is. So because they didn't really know each other, they never took the time to get to know each other, and so that was kind of the point of all that a little bit. So there's
Plus,
like,
we don't know the battles other people are going through.
that's
You
right,
know,
that's right,
we just see them, assume the worst without knowing, what they're dealing with.
right,
And I think Covin's like the perfect example because Seth himself is like, I thought you were different.
exactly, yeah.
Now talk to us about the toys totems because that was hilarious.
I don't know where I got that from actually. I planned a story out like a couple of years ago. I just hadn't been able to write it. So I always wanted to do the single dads, the neighbors especially. And I don't know, I was just writing it and just like I could just see Cal just using his architectural degree just to start sculpting the toys that are all left in his yard and then just being a jerk about it too. Just but I don't know, it just kind of came to me. It was
Seth is the sweetest ever.
yes,
He's such
smart.
he's like the type of friend that you want to have close by because you
Yeah.
know that he's gonna be there for you whenever
Mhm.
you need them.
Yep.
Now he too was dealt with a really, really bad card.
Yep.
His husband leaves him with three young kids and just like leaves him to fend for himself.
Yep.
I think considering all of that, he's the strongest person I can think of.
Yeah, and he struggled, but he kind of just went forward with life. He just kind of just kept pushing with life and just kept dealing with the cards that he was dealt. Unlike Calvin had a little panic there, but Seth is just, he takes every day like one step at a time, you know, and just, even if it's like hard, he just keeps going forward.
Yeah, he's really
He's
an
a rock.
inspiration. Yeah, he
Yeah,
is a rock, and he's an inspiration for a lot of single parents out there. Like,
yeah,
I'm married, I have four kids, but I was technically a single parent because my husband was working.
yeah,
So I had to do everything by myself. And when you have small children, they always want your attention, and you have to be by yourself.
yeah. And I was a single mom for a while too before I got remarried. So yeah, it's not an easy job for sure.
But he did it well. He did it with grace,
Yeah.
and I think single dads deserve more credit.
Yeah, I think because there are dads out there, and I think especially queer men are becoming fathers more and more, and I think it's good to give them that kind of representation, show that they can do it. They don't have to. They could be by themselves on their own and still manage, households and taking care of kids and holding jobs and
Yeah, because the misconception is like women are the ones supposed to be at home taking
right,
care of the kids. But
right,
that is so wrong because dads can be even better than moms.
right.
They can be just as attentive
Hmm.
and as soft as moms can be. And I think men in general deserve more credit than what they do.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's see. I have five would you rather. And I
Okay.
want the audience to actually participate in this. So, would you rather have a neighbor who is a total jerk but insanely hot, or a neighbor who is the sweetest person alive but their kids' toys are permanently scattered on your lawn?
I think I've had a choice between the two. I've dated guys like Cal. I'd rather have a Seth. I'd rather just the steady, tried and true guy who just keeps pushing forward. That's gonna be my guy right there.
Okay. Would you rather have a clean up set, flower covered kitchen after baking fail, or have an organized carving's entire mindset, minimalistic, clean,
Yeah.
and like no chaos, um, according to his strict rules. Like, would you rather have the chaos? Would you rather have the calm?
Me, calm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the calm and the decluttering. Yeah, that's the cluttering mess just stresses me out. If you see my shelves here, I had them all cluttered with stuff. I had a whole bunch of stuff. I had to remove it. It was stressing me out. So
Is that the bunny back there?
yes, that's your money. That's him. He's sitting right next to his Deathbringer.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Okay. Would you rather go on a second date with someone who has hidden red flags or a first date with your jerk neighbor who already knows all your flaws?
Somebody who knows all my flaws. Yeah.
I think so
If he can
because
still
that
talk to me after that, then we're good.
because they already know the real you. So,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
would you rather suddenly have to foster a 14-year-old or suddenly have to manage three toddlers at once?
Oh, 14-year-old, hands down. Hands down. I love toddlers are cute and exhausting and chaos, which I tend to avoid.
Yes, like a little Hellcat. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
like little Hellcat. Yeah.
Would you rather have your neighbor turn your kids' toys into weird totems, or have them mow exactly half an inch onto your lawn just to be annoying?
Wait, what was the second one?
Would you rather have them mow exactly half an inch onto your lawn just to be annoying?
Uh, if I'd rather have the toy totem. I think,
So, would you rather have your
sorry.
neighbor turn your kids' toys into weird totems,
Yeah.
or have them mow exactly half an inch onto your lawn just to be annoying?
um, yeah, toy totems. I
Yeah.
think those are fun. Yeah.
I think House of Cards, it's a book that needs to be read. That goes without saying. But there's a chapter in the book with Seth's current boyfriend.
Hmm.
Something happens that is extremely scary,
Yep.
non-consensual,
Yep.
and I think that was the turning point of the story, especially
Yeah.
for Seth and Calvin.
Yeah.
I, how do you come with that particular scene to make it? Because first of all, Leo came off as a nice guy.
Right.
There were little red flags, but nothing that were like, stay away from him. And
Right.
then we kind of saw his true colors.
Right.
How do you write him in a way that it wasn't obvious, but at the same time there were clues there?
Yeah, Leo is interesting, and I debated on putting him in there, because I knew some people would be upset about it. But I think, Seth needed to learn a little bit of not being such a doormat and, standing his ground, putting his foot down and, and claiming what he wants. And that was kind of definitely the turning point for him. But I think, like with Leo, I needed him. I didn't want him to be like an abuser per se. I wanted him to make a blundering mistake that was highly damaging. And he's not really, thinking about the person that he's with. He's just thinking about, his own thing. So I don't know how it came up. I needed something to where he wasn't like, psychopath, because it wasn't that kind of story. I just wanted a man who was, who just kind of failed, but and ended up hurting Seth in the process. But I didn't want to turn to, because like a lot of times we turn to things like, assault and, especially sexual assault stuff. I didn't want to go that route per se. It kind of came off that way, but it wasn't. It was just a horrid mistake and just a lack of communication and just, a little selfishness. But I didn't want it to turn into, something that's, people just threw away the book after that, and I wanted Seth to be able to not be fully traumatized by it for a long period of time, something. So just, and have him, have someone to lean on. But I don't know, it just kind of, a lot of the times when I write books, I don't always have everything fully plotted out. It's sometimes things just come to me. Usually they just come to me. I only plot out my characters mostly, their psychology, their backstories, how they handle things, what drives them, what motivates them. Those are the things I focus on. And then so as I get the theme of my story going, the premise, then the kind of their characters and their psychology kind of helps devolve into, or helps evolve the story along, and how they react and what those situations are going to be that change them for, you know what would I do to push Seth and Cal together, things like that. But I also wanted them to have relationships outside of them, I wanted to bring in, I don't think it's done a lot. I don't think a lot of readers like it too much, but I wanted, to showcase how Cal was the playboy. I wanted to showcase how Seth was finally ready to just settle down and kind of things like that. And I wanted them to try those things before they finally meshed together.
It was very traumatic, even if it wasn't a long term
Yeah,
trauma. And I love the fact that you wrote that scene and then it kind of like you gave Seth enough time to heal
yeah,
before he actually let Calvin in. Like
right,
you didn't rush it, you didn't demean what happened to him, but you didn't focus on it either. Like you
right,
gave it enough time for him to acknowledge how he was feeling.
right.
I love the fact that you allow Seth to actually come to Calvin,
Yeah,
to ask for
yeah,
his help. When I was reading the chapter, I was like, oh please don't say that you're okay. Please don't hide from Calvin.
yeah.
But he actually sought his help. He told him,
I like writing vulnerability. I like in men. I like when they're able to, be able to grieve, if they have a trauma, to be able to cry about it and lean on another man for that and have him hold him through it. And that's kind of the premise of hurt comfort, it's just that to being able to be vulnerable, to be able to hurt and have someone hold you through it and comfort you and get through it all. And so I didn't want them like, it depends on the characters. Some characters shy away from that kind of stuff, but I wanted to, that's not Seth. Seth is kind of, he's a pretty real dude. He's pretty down to earth and real.
and the fact that Calvin was ready to burn down the world,
That was so
even though
pissed.
they were not even together, and he was willing to just go out there and kick Leo's
Yeah.
butt. It was like,
And they were just
yes,
friends at the
yes,
time. They weren't even dating. I know.
I know. Calvin is he's such a complex character,
Yeah.
but he is like so sweet. When he cares about someone, you know that he's all in.
Yeah.
Now that leads me to another question:
Okay.
the bullying of Raiden.
I loved writing that scene. Oh my God.
I literally, because I obviously was rereading and getting certain points so I can ask you about it. So I just finished before the live. I was reading that scene. It was hilarious, especially because when he takes out the water gun, they actually think it's water, but we
Yeah.
know that it's not water.
No, no, no. I had to. It's so Calvin. It was like that was very much Calvin.
it,
He's
it
like
really
I'm
was.
gonna handle this myself.
And he did, and I love how Braden felt. Like he was proud, and at the same time, he was like, "Wow, you actually did that for me,"
Yeah.
because we know how teenagers are,
Yeah.
and Brady is actually a pretty laid back teen. He was not bratty. He didn't rebel against Calvin about the situation. He was a nice kid.
Yeah. He was a very
So
sweet kid. He was very sweet
for
and
him to be completely
shy.
uprooted from everything he knows and being thrown into a new situation, he handled it pretty well.
Yeah.
And Calvin, I think he did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
For someone who doesn't know how to deal with people that is not himself, he really did amazing.
I think it
And
helped because he was grieving too.
he
So he
was.
kind of because he lost his friends. He was kind of understanding where Braden was coming from and why he was hurting because he was hurting too. He felt the same thing. Maybe not as deeply as losing your parents, but he understood that grief, and so I think that helped connect them a little bit. This boy wasn't just thrown at him, kind of randomly. So I mean, he was attached to his parents in the first place. So
Yeah. Calvin's mom.
yep, yep.
That lady is a witch with a capital B. I wanted to get into the book and just like slap her out until next week because
She's
that
cool. Yeah,
woman was terrible.
yep.
I mean, I've read worse, amazingly enough, but she was all kinds of mean, like the way she
Yeah,
treated
she's a
Calvin.
narcissist. Yeah, narcissist, and very she was kept Calvin very close to her side. We don't. I didn't really delve into her backstory at all, but I mean, people who are like that, there's usually a reason behind it generally, but maybe their own trauma or whatever. But yeah, she was horrid. She was horrid, and and Calvin dealt with it as best that he could. But it's hard to, like, when you have a parent who's like that, because they jerk you back and forth a lot, from the narcissism to kindness and love, and so they just give you whiplash, but they keep you kind of tethered to them in a way, and so it's hard to break away from that. He tried his best, but he didn't do the no contact thing.
Now, what inspired you to write such a main character who was so important to the main character?
Yeah. Why did I write her?
Yeah, like what inspired you to write her as mean as she was, but also make her so important to him?
Right, that's because that's me. That was my mother. That's how I grew up, pretty much, kind of like that.
Oh,
And so I brought that my kind of own story into the book. The orange juice scene when he's eating breakfast, the flashback he has, the orange juice scene. She throws orange juice on him. That was an actual real story
oh my God!
of mine. So I put that into. So yeah, so there's a lot of Calvin's got a lot of me in there. A
Wow,
lot of me in there. Yeah. So
that's
she's
terrible.
kind of like my mother a little bit. Yeah.
Damn. Now we know how the book ends.
Yep.
I bawled my ass out because I was not expecting it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was throughout the whole book, I kind of knew it was coming, but I still wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah. And this is I think a lot of people think this is like the cliffhanger of a story, but it's not. It's a cliffhanger of the series. It's just a lead into the next book. So Calvin and Seth get their HEA. They're done with their story. But yeah, I just, yeah, I don't want to get into, I don't know who's written it, but yeah, it was a pretty, I was up in the air if I should really write it, but I had the whole series planned out. I mean, when I started the House of Cards, the whole, all the books are planned out, who's who's going to be with who, what the kids are going to be like, how they're going to be surprised. And so this book was already planned out. And so, which means I have to, someone, um, I don't know, the people are probably mad at me about it, but yeah, but it's, book two is going to be interesting. It's going to be a difficult write. So we'll see how that one goes.
I honestly think that maybe it's not the right time for the whole series, but I do believe those characters will come to life. Maybe not right away,
I hope
but
so.
down the
Yeah.
road.
I
Because,
don't know what's going on, but I just, yeah, for right now, I just, because I've already invested so much of these characters, when I was planning them out and everything. And so it's just like, I think at the time, just for right now, writing them all out is going to just be a little hard on me. So that's what I'm just kind of putting aside. Hopefully I can revisit it later, but I've got other things planned. So I always got other books planned.
now, since book two is a for sure thing, how are you planning to rip our house out before you actually give us something good?
For which one?
For book two, for our fall story.
Yeah, book two. That one's gonna be a redemption arc. So for Paul. And so, because he's green, but he screws up big time. And so we're gonna have to, that was gonna be a slow burn. He's gonna have to process a lot. And he messes up big time. And so the poor nanny is
So we're going to cry, and we're going to want to throw the Kindle or the book out the wall.
probably, they're gonna be mad at Paul for a while. They're gonna be like, what in the hell are you doing, guy?
Okay, so will you want to take some questions from the audience?
Sure.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Any
order tissues
questions?
now. Yeah.
What do you guys want to know about Courtney?
Especially the next book coming up. Get some tissues. So spitting off the edge is gonna be a rough
Yeah,
road.
at this point, I think we're used to you, but at the same time, we're not.
I don't know. I don't think you all forgave me about Alpha.
I still don't. I still don't. That
I
was
still I
so.
still
Oh
hear about what
my
I did to you.
God, that was terrible. Because skating meant so much for him, and then for you to do that to him, come
I
on.
just ripped it right out from him. Yep.
Goodness sakes.
I know. I'm so mean with my characters.
Just you have to be expecting our therapy bill because, woman, you put us to the ringer,
Uh,
and it's like it's not even funny.
yeah.
Okay, any questions, guys? Anything you want to know? It doesn't have to be House of Cards. What's your favorite Courtney book? If you can even pick. Hey, my husband joined. Hi, babe. See, I have a supportive husband.
Oh, is he on? Hi.
Yeah, he's on.
And
I
my
talk to
husband.
him about you all the time. I think by this time he's like, he knows all of you, and he just goes with the program. He goes like,
That's
"Yes, babe.
awesome. I love
I
that.
know, I know." So
My husband's working.
whenever I tell him about an author, he already knows who I'm talking about.
There's a question. So, what kind of fanfic did I write? Oh, I wrote for Skyrim actually. I was doing a lot of mods for that one, and I did a lot of fanfics for that one. Especially my werewolves. So my werewolf twins. Those were fun.
Ooh, I love werewolves. I think werewolves
They
are
were
so
fun to write.
fun.
Yeah, I'm surprised. After all that, I'm surprised I didn't write a Megaverse. But no, no.
Okay, Liz Book Greg says her favorite is Blazing Ajax. It will always top the list.
Yeah, Blazing Ajax. Oh, my Aiden. He is just a spitfire.
Toby Fun Reed says his Bane and Solid Forever. Yes, girl, for real. A book with a cup of tea says, "Are you a full time author now?"
Oh, I'm full time. Yeah, I've been full time the whole time. This is my only job, so it's always been my only job. I have not been able to work in an office since 22 years. So yeah,
Wow.
because I got PTSD from all that. That was like I was abused for 5 years, and I hadn't been able to. So I've been spent years just trying to find a job that I can nail down, that I can work at home. So I did all kind. I did landscaping for a while, and then I became pregnant with my youngest son, and I was doing a lot of the installations myself. So he was not happy with that, so I had to quit that. And then he was high needs, so I had to quit that for a while, and then of course I did the art thing for a long time, and I did digital art journaling. I created all the art bits and stuff for the kits that people could use to create their own art journaling through using Photoshop or whatever, and now I write.
That's pretty fun.
So
Uh, Reading with Shadows says, if you could live in one of your books, what book would you choose? Ooh, that's an interesting
if
one.
I could live,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that would be my Ohana surfer shop series. To live in Oahu, yeah, thanks. I'll be there
Who
any
wouldn't
day.
want?
Yeah, to be a surfer, yeah, I could do that.
Can say no to Hawaii, that's for sure.
No, no, no. I wrote that because I went to Hawaii right after lockdown,
Oh,
and
nice.
and so yeah, the whole family went, and then we're meeting up finally after 2 years, and so yeah, we went to Maui and Oahu right after lockdown, and then that's when I came up with the story to do. So it was
That's
just right just
awesome.
when I was about to publish my first book. Yeah.
Nice. Charlotte's Library says, Blaze and Ajax will forever be my fave.
Yep.
Those boys are just top tier. They really are. Again, a book with a cup of tea asks, how do you pick the names?
Which for all the characters,
Uh,
um, or
specify.
for all the characters, yeah, generally I don't know, I'm terrible with names. I have to look them up. Like, I'll look up a bunch of boy names that aren't, and you have to be careful not to reuse names because I've almost done that a few times, and I have to go back and remember the names I use of other characters or secondary characters. But like the skateboarder series, I made those up on my own. And I just thought about the characters and who they were and just kind of came up with their nicknames, basically like Sticks, of course, he's the drummer, and Blaze is why Blaze was called Blaze if you read the story, but I don't want to give anything away, but things like that, and Pippin and Nacho, and yeah, so
Ooh, I love this one. Dina Lee says, will you consider writing for Megaverse? Please say yes.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I mean, that's like a whole, that's not just switching up lanes. That's like going from a dirt road to an interstate highway. Um, I don't know. I actually am planning with my oldest son. We're going to be working together to write actually a fantasy. So he writes D&D campaigns, and he is so brilliant at it, at world building. It's insane how good he is at world building. He does everything from scratch. He writes it all. And so I wanted to, and he's always been really good at writing, and even since he was little. And so I wanted to write a book with him, actually. And so he's not going to write an romance. He's not going to do any of that. But he'll do the fantasy stuff, the world building, and I do the characters and, and all the steamy scenes. And so, but that's going to take us a while because getting Stuart to do anything is challenging. He's he's got ADHD pretty much, so he just he'll get focused on one thing, and then it's hard to draw him back in to get going on doing stuff. But he wants to, so we'll see how it goes. But we've been talking about it.
That's
He's got to come up
amazing,
with
though.
he's got to come up with the world, and he's already come up with some ideas, and then I'll come up with the characters, and so we'll see how that goes. Maybe next year, because next year is going to be a pretty slow year for me, because we have a big move. And so I need to declutter the house, and we got to get packing and find a house, and we're gonna be very busy. So that'll be a good
That's
time to plan things with Stuart.
definitely looking forward to that one because
Yeah,
mom and dad together, mom and son together. That's just awesome. The, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
yeah,
That's
he's a great
awesome.
writer, and he's good at art too. So yeah,
Shazlow's book says, "Do you choose all the kids' name in the House of Cards?"
I choose
Actually,
all.
how did you
Oh,
choose
how
all
do
the?
I choose their names? I have to look up names. I mean, that's the thing. I have to find because I like unique names, and I'm trying to find ones that aren't used all the time. Um, at least for me, but it's yeah, it just I don't really Braden, sometimes if I have like a model, um, and I look at the model's face, and I kind of sometimes the name will just pop to me. Like Calvin, I looked at him. Calvin just came right to me. I just looked at him. Same with Seth. But sometimes I have to look up names. But sometimes, yeah, if the model just for some reason a name will call to me, and I'll name them that. So whatever comes to mind. Nothing,
Now,
nothing fancy or exciting.
now, when you're writing a story, do you let the characters talk to you, or are you like set in what you want to write?
No, they run the show. Yeah, no, the characters run the show because once they're fully fleshed out and developed with who they are as people, they run the show. They run the direction of the story. Um, and so that's what makes me, I guess, what do you call them? The planster. So I plan out, the premise, and I got notes and themes and ideas and where I want the direction of the book to go in, and how they're going to interact. So all those things are kind of planned out. But they decide like how each chapter progresses, how they react to each situation, depending on what their psychology is and what their backstory is, and how they handle things. So.
That's awesome. Now, Books in Nature wants to know where within all your books spitting will fall in ants and cleaners needs. Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, it's very, very angsty. It's very it's dark in the sense that a lot of dark thoughts from the character, especially Julian's character. And there is, some bloody hands. But it's not like that kind of dark romance where, there's the mafia or criminals or, I mean, there are criminals, but it's just Julian is the true I will kill for you kind of thing. So, I will protect you. And so that's the kind of person he is. But and he's kind of got nothing to lose. So he, kind of jumps on it, but it doesn't mean these things don't freak him out or he does not traumatized by it. But so it's kind of it's a messy book. They're messy. And they only have 2 weeks to do it in. So they only have 2 weeks to find their HEA. So that's the challenging part is to make them fall in love, to make it make sense, and not have it feel like an insta love kind of situation, and then to find their HEA after 2 weeks. So it was challenging. So
I am so excited for that one. I mean, I'm excited for all your work because
There's a lot of tears in that book, though, for sure. A lot of tears.
it's okay. I'm used to it already. If I survive,
I mean, even I cry. That's a big deal because I
if
write a
I
lot of recovery.
survive this, I can survive anything. A book with a cup of tea wants to know why MM and what or who inspire you.
So when I started picking up writing, I always did back and forth MFMM, always. So I did both. And it just whatever that depends on the characters, what I felt like writing. So it wasn't. Um, I don't really think about it. I just think about what the dynamic, how it felt. And so, like, my first series was also MMMF. My first book was MF, but my second book and third book were both MM. But I wanted a world where, you got a mixture of different, sexualities and dynamics. And that's what I wanted to do. Um, and eventually, after I wrote my Ohana surfing series, I had three MM, but one was MF. And so that one kind of flopped. No one was reading that one. And so I decided just to deviate and just write MM, because I was struggling to market both of them at the same time. It was hard to find that audience. And so, and I prefer the MM. Writing MF was it's just for me. It's just my own my own issues. Writing male female sex was just kind of
It didn't do it for you.
yeah, no, it didn't really do it for me. And MM doesn't really do it for me. I mean, writing sex in general is just it's so because after you write 37 plus books and you write sexies over and over and over and over and over, you're just like, oh god, no more. But I keep doing it for you also.
I love the fact that this one was kind of slow burn, but once they got together, it wasn't.
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna say it was one of your spiciest books, but it was pretty
Yeah,
spicy.
they get creative in their spiciness for sure. They think of ways because you got Hellcat to deal with. You don't want her interrupting things. So um,
I love Hellcat,
yeah,
um, especially because Calvin was the one who came up with the name,
yeah,
and two, because she was the first one to actually fall for Calvin. I think that was the sweetest thing.
yeah. Well,
You
she
know,
was like a
she
cat. Like I don't like kids, and here's this cat. I don't like cats. And here it is sitting on my lap. I mean, what the heck's going on? It's like
and then Calvin just like he melted for her, especially in that scene at the amusement park. I think that was what made me fall in love with Calvin even more because he's always complaining about the kids and the chaos and how like they're
yeah,
so messy. But come on, he was so putty with the
yeah.
kids.
He was
He
he was he
loved them.
he was a puddle for her. I know. He will never admit it though.
Okay, Mystery 2770 asks, who is your favorite character? And tell us why it's
It's
Blaze.
place.
A little biased.
I have Sully's my favorite. Period. End of story. He's my favorite. But Blaze is like a close second or third. He's my Spitfire. I loved writing that little asshole so much. I loved writing him. He was such an ass. But then we find out later on why he was such a jerk. And so, in just writing him was just fun, and writing his redemption arc and just watching him grow and change was just so rewarding for me. So
It was a great story. The whole series is fantastic
thank
because
you.
then we have the Truple,
The cue
um,
ball and the
Cue Ball.
and yeah and
I'm blanking.
double Z.
Yes, that particular story was very heartwarming
Yeah,
because the three of them together, they were so different. You
all
know,
very different. Yeah,
they were so different, but at the same time, there was like a pull that just kept them together and made them each their better version. You know, I mean, Cue Ball.
they all grew in their own way, but together that they probably
Yeah,
wouldn't have done separately. So they all kind of grew because they stuck it out together and stuff. So
yeah.
that was an interesting dynamic to write, especially for a cue ball who's so hard and closed off. So
But the way he opened up, it was so beautiful to see him. upset that he was a good person because he couldn't believe that there was good in him. And yet there
Yeah.
was so much good in him because he cares so deeply
Yeah, he
for
cares a lot.
everyone.
Yeah. Even though he comes across as very, tough love kind of thing to all his friends, all the rejects. He's always he's there to help people, but it's always a tough love type of thing. And it's part of it is because he's trying to keep away from his therapy side and just stating facts. This is why you're being like this, kind of.
His story was pretty heartbreaking though.
Yeah, yeah,
Like it was like, again, you had me crying because of course you did. But to see him actually accept that he deserved to be loved
yeah,
was chef's kiss. It was
yeah.
like
It was
beautiful.
really, it was really Zilch, the little one, the mute, the selective mute. He's kind of the glue that kind of bound them all together. I think he was kind of the sweet one.
That character, I was in awe on how you wrote Silch because, again, celeb mutism is, it must be super hard because you know
It
that you
was,
can
yeah,
talk, but at the same time, your trauma doesn't allow you to talk.
yeah.
How, again, what inspired you to write something like that? And how did you manage to make it seem like it was okay to have that disability and just be yourself and you deserve to be happy despite your disability?
Well, because he was so adaptive, he just adapted to his situation so well. He learned really quickly how to talk to other people, and so it made sense for me to have him just live with it and just adapt to it. And of course, with Cue Ball being a therapist, he easily would have said, you're okay just as you are. You communicate just fine. There's no wrong way to communicate. But yeah, just when I started writing his character and planning him out, I just instantly decided he was going to be a mute, selective mute. That just came to me as I was planning him out, and that's what I wanted him to be. And so, because it wasn't challenging enough, I had to add on that extra layer. But yeah, it just came to me. It just, for some reason, just for me, it just fit him very well, and that's what I wanted him to be. And so, but I wanted him to be able to just live with it and be fine with it. And
Yeah, it
Gio's
was a,
Gio's also on my top list of
yeah.
characters. Gio was very much mine. I loved him so much.
It was, the whole book was amazing. I'm sad that
I thought it was
it
going to be Cue
ended.
Ball that was going to be my guy, but nope, it was Gio.
Chaz Loves Books wants to know what made you write Edge after Milk.
Edged. Okay, so Edged. Well, it's part of a series, so I planned out the series already. But I mean, the whole point of the erotica thing is sex, writing sex. Um,
Our
I was really,
princess
I
needed
was
to be taken
really
care of.
I'm not a procrastinator, but once I start getting into the scene I've got to write about when it comes to sex, I procrastinate so hard. I'm off back on social media. I'm scrolling through my phone. I'm making a snack. And then I got to go back to it an hour later. I'll write a few things. I'm like, ugh, I'm going to go back. I'm procrastinating again. I would get books done a lot faster if I didn't have to procrastinate so bad with the sex thing. Just because again, it's just after because I get bored really easily. This is why I write different types of books because
Yeah.
I can't, I'll get bored if I just write mafia all the time, or I would just bore me. So yeah, I'm all over the place. But so the sex of writing like Milk and everything was helped me to. I thought if I pushed those boundaries of writing sex to more than I ever did before, that it would help me get out of the funk. And it worked for a little bit, but then Edge came along. I'm like, okay, maybe not. So I had to push myself really hard to get through that book. And it's, I love their story. Writing their story was easy. It was just all the steam stuff that I had to push through. But, and there's a lot of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I got two more books coming for it. So
Yeah. Edge was something.
that was it. Yep, it was something. So
Atlas was quite the angel. Yes, he was such an angel.
yeah, Atlas. He was a card. Sir.
Okay, so we're almost done. How you feeling?
Good, fine.
Was it painful? Are you having
No, not
fun?
people. I feel I'm so socially awkward. I just
Okay, so I have 5 rapid questions for you.
Okay.
One, plot or character?
So
Which
what plot?
or character? Which one usually sparks the first idea for a notebook?
It's the theme is
The
what
theme?
first. Yeah, it's the theme of the book, like a premise. It's just that's what hits me, and then I run with that. And then second, those the characters. Plot comes later. They decide what the plot's going to be. So
Writing fuel. Are you team coffee, tea, or strictly water when you're writing?
mostly water. So I only have coffee a little bit in the morning, but in the afternoon I have my tea. But yeah, usually just water.
Direct factor. Which chapter in House of Cards was the hardest for you to write emotionally?
The hardest part to write, um, emotionally, most of it wasn't too hard. I think writing mostly it was just my worries about putting in other sex scenes without these two main guys together. You know, writing Leo in and then writing Calvin in the very chapter one, just right off the bat, you know, with some other dude in bed. So that was like most of that had to do with my, you know, just worry that I was gonna, you know, get hurt, you know, hurt with that one. Um, but I did anyway. So
It's weird to me because people think that the main characters having other partners before they meet the main character is a big deal. Hello, everybody has a past.
right.
There's nothing
I think
wrong
that
with
it's
writing
supposed to
it.
be implied. It's usually supposed to be just implied, and so they can focus just on the two characters. And I get that, but but for me, I like to write more authentically. You know, like a real life story. These guys, because especially since we're dealing with real life story issues, single dads, and unexpected fatherhood, and you know grief and all these things. So I wanted to make it just to showcase that they had lives beforehand before they met. I wanted to show that actually, and then become develop a friendship and then get together finally. But
I personally like to see the previous relationship to see how much it differ from the current one,
yeah,
because a lot of the times there's either abuse or they are not cherished enough. And then when they find the right one, they can tell and feel the difference with their new
right,
partners. So it's good to have a glimpse of what was in order to understand and enjoy what is, you
right.
know?
And so,
Okay.
like, even with the abuse and stuff, like, with Sid's story and his reluctant savior, that even then is like, even with trauma and what he did for a living, even then, that doesn't, I like to write, it doesn't even fully go away. Even with time, he still was impacted by that physically, even in the bedroom. So I wanted to keep that kind of realistic too. Even the book was so far from being realistic.
Auto buy author. Who is one author whose books you will buy without even reading the synopsis?
I have not read a book in 2 years, girl. Not read a book in 2 years. Um, Unless it was like an arc and somebody had to read or something. But yeah, it's become, reading has become an extension of work because I write and read and edit so much because I'm a rapid release author. So it's every single day. And so sitting down reading a book, I'm just like, oh God, no. I have tried. I bought a slew of books. I got a ton of them just sitting right here ready to be read. And I'm just like, maybe next year. So I don't have an auto buy at the moment, so nothing like, yeah. I mean, I like the regulars, the standards, but I really would like to dive into them, but it's hard for me to just keep pushing myself to read because at the end of the day, I end up playing video games just to get the book out of my head, and just wind down for the night. But yeah,
And
no
last
thanks here.
one, future vibe. In 3 words, how will you describe the project you're working on next?
In 3 words, the project I'm working on next. In 3 words, um, biracial Cannon Beach runners.
Nice. Awesome. I absolutely love the fact that you are diverse. As a Latina woman, to see myself represented in my favorite stories is like the best compliment ever, because variety is the spice of life,
I know, I
and
agree, and I plan to write a lot more of that. And so we talked about this before in private, but yes, I kind of holding back a little bit, but I really want to branch out. In fact, the Not in the Card series had, we're going to have a main black single father in there and stuff besides Ruben. Um, and apparently, I got a lot of requests for Ruben and Travis, so we'll see. Maybe down the road one day.
That is, I think that, especially in the US, there's a soup of colors in this country.
Yeah,
Why stick to only one color?
I
You
totally
know,
agree. Yep,
and love comes in all different shapes, sizes, colors,
exactly,
so why not exploit that and just
exactly.
give something to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, it's 6 o'clock.
All right.
We actually made it to the hour.
All right. That went fast.
So
I
now,
will wait forever for Slade's story court. So-
so now it is time to do the giveaway.
Yay.
Hold on, let me make sure that you guys see what I'm doing. What is your favorite color? This is totally like out of the blue. What's your favorite color?
Mine?
Yeah.
Um, I hate people ask me favorite. I never have favorites. Let's go because it changes all the time. I think right now my favorite is green. It'll probably change next week, but yeah.
Now, it's up to you if you want to answer, but when is your birthday?
August 14th.
Oh my God, it's almost here when you
I
think about
know.
it.
I'm so old. God.
All right, so here's the wheel of names, and these are the names of all the people that actually commented on the giveaway post.
All right.
So let's spin the wheel. Let's see, let's see. And the winner is Liz Book Rex. Congratulations!
Liz, you
Yay!
think you have all my books already?
Well, if she has all the books, maybe she can wait for the next one.
Well, yeah, you can ship her paperback if she wants. Signed paperback.
Make sure that you either contact me or Courtney to claim your prize. Courtney, I cannot thank you enough for doing
Thank
this with
you.
me.
I am happy to be your first interviewee.
Yes, and I think we did a good job.
You did great. It was great. It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to make it more conversational than just like questions and answers,
Right.
and it was fun. Thank you for being my guinea pig.
No, no, it was fun. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everyone who joined. I appreciate you more than you can thank. And
Thanks
stay
for
tuned
showing
for next
everybody.
week. Make sure that you stay tuned. Next week is going to be a Spanish author, so I understand it. A lot of you won't be there. But the following week, there's even more fun to come. So
Nice.
I'll be posting little tidbits for you to join. And thank you a lot. Courtney, I love
Thank
you.
you.
You
Love you.
are my favorite person in the world, and
Thank
I cannot
you.
thank you enough. Bye, everyone.
Bye.